In all my years as a hardwood flooring contractor, I've never seen anything like this. So I tried to lift it up, and there's no nails. A few weeks ago, we came out for an estimate for a sand and finish of a new hardwood install, and when we got here, we noticed a few questionable things. There was gaps all throughout the floor, and there was areas that were supposed to be laced in, but they weren't laced in. They just butted up the boards together, and we were planning on fixing that and then sanding and finishing the floor. Not ideal, but not the end of the world. But when we went to do the lace in, the boards were coming out really easy. And I'm like, are there any nails in this floor? And then I just picked it up and the entire floor came up. And then I was like, wait, if that's just this section, let's check the rest of the install. I went to every edge, the same thing happened. It just lifted up without even using a pry bar. Whoever did this previously, maybe they did laminate and they thought, well, it can be floating, that's fine. Well, it's not. So what's our game plan? Well, the first thing we're going to do is replace this board in the center with a cleat. So we'll take up about 3 or 4 rows, keeping them in order, and then just reinstalling them the exact same way that they are so that we can reuse all of this wood. If you're thinking of installing your hardwood at a 45, there's a few things to consider. One, the fact that everything is going to be more difficult. You have to cut everything at an angle. Number 2, it's hard to close the gaps along the edges. Since you're working at a 45, you can't really put a pry bar along the edge and close it up like you can with a straight wall, all right? And number 3, it creates a lot of busyness in the room, which might not be great for certain situations. In this wide open blank space, it works great because they have creative opportunities here and they can do whatever they'd like. But in some spaces, it might be too much.
While Patrick's working on that part of the project, I'm working on lacing in the new floor into the old floor. One of the glaring issues we saw when we first arrived on site was that the previous contractors had butted up all these boards along a straight line, instead of lacing it in as you should, like I'm doing here. Essentially, I'm just removing part of the old floor so that the new floor will fit seamlessly like this, so that it's not obvious that we patched here.
Right now I'm trowel filling the floor. This is going to fill any milling defects, knots in the wood, or nail holes. And then we're going to do this again once I get to the finish sanding. All right, so the water pop's all dry and we're ready to stain. The color we're using is Special Walnut, and the way we're applying it is with a buffer and a carpet pad underneath.
It's the day after staining, and as you can see, it turned out amazing. So now we can move on to the best part, which is of course finishing. For stain jobs like this, we like to use Flex Seal sanding sealer for our first coat because it has little to no color changing effect on the stain.
All right, so we're back for the final coat. And before we get started, we're going to use this yellow sand dollar by Norton. It's perfect for a stain job because it's not going to shave off any high edges, leaving bare wood. I'd highly recommend this for intercoat abrasion on any stain job you do. And then for our final coat, we're using the best finish on earth, the Green Star Satin by Berger Seidler. So let's get started.
Right here we chipped a board with the buffer, which is pretty common. So all we're gonna do is tape it off, color it in, and epoxy it. Coat over it, it'll be as good as new. If you're getting ready to do your hardwood project, you're going to spend thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. We understand you worked hard for what you have, and we want to help you make the right decisions. We do this by making these videos, but we also do offer 30-minute consulting calls to answer all your questions and guide you down the right path. We don't want to see you get manipulated by dishonest contractors or see you choose the wrong products and be stuck with something you don't like. Click the link in the description to book a time with us.
All right, so the color they went with was a special walnut, and they did a satin sheen, which we always recommend. And it's not too shiny, but it does give it a little pop. All right, now we're transitioning to the original house. This was an addition, and in here they have the floor from the 60s. So we were able to reuse this, and it's got a few more refinishes out of it. We use the same exact stain and finish combo, and this floor will be good for another 10 to 15 years.
Thanks for watching this video, everyone, and if you liked it, click that one popping up on your screen right now. You will like it too.